Welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. A little bit past 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast. Yes, I know usually it's supposed to be 7, but that's okay. Well, I did a good job anyway. I'm here at least, right? That's it. I did make it, which is awesome. I'm happy that I made it. And I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, as is my norm, as I spent most of the day working and then figure out what should I talk about. So now I figured it out. I wanted to kind of cover what I think a lot of people are thinking about right now, and some of the, as I always tell you, some of the things behind the scenes that may not be so obvious. Kind of like, who is winning? Why are they winning with all the stuff that's happening? Today was Trump's Liberation Day. He's tariffing the world. AOC and Bernie are out there running around doing their tour. Cory Booker, he is just did his 25 hours of yapping. I thought I was bad. Hey, Mike, he makes you look bad if Mike Voss is watching. See, he's better than you. 25 hours of yapping. I mean, Mike does like 23, so he's almost as good. And not just that, we also got Elon Musk dropping $25 million on an election and not winning. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here that I wanted to cover. And the first one I want to talk about, I think maybe is the more obvious one, which is Trump's tariff day. I am concerned about the tariffs. I am, but that isn't what we're talking about here, to be forward. I hope they work. I do. I hope they work. I am worried they won't, but I hope they do. I want them to work, not because I care about Trump. I don't, but because I care about America. And the plan, as he says, is to bring back American jobs. The union people seem to think that's true. I hope they are all correct. That is what I'm saying. I hope so. I don't know if it is, but I'm going to go back to who is winning. Well, I'm going to show you a little piece here, if I could. This is a piece from local news in Tampa, right? A piece from local news in Tampa and how they're speaking about it in general. Now, this is actually from Sky News and CBS's Face the Nation First. This is where Trump is going in general in America right now, where he is in general.
This is a story about balance and the things that are going well in the public.
So overall right now, Trump's overall job rating is 50-50. This is from last week, I think. Yeah, March 28th, right? So 4 days ago. From 4 days ago, right now, he's 50-50. Now, 50-50 when he was announcing his tariffs already. So like the tariff thing's already been announced, and he's at 50-50, which you might go, is that good or is that bad? For him, that's amazing. For him, right? That's amazing, right? So this is where he is right now.
Mine for him is his handling of immigration, which is still net positive, and his deportation program is still net positive.
Now, this is the odd part, and this is the part that I actually don't get, to be forward with you. Not that I don't get people want to get rid of immigrants. I get it. Americans always want to get rid of immigrants. I get that. I'm not surprised at that. But Trump's value right now in the American populace is they like his immigration policy. They like he's getting rid of immigrants. People like that. I'm not a huge fan, but doesn't matter. I'm being realistic here. They like the fact that he's going to throw them all out. Okay, people like it. I got it. So he's got some juice, and I said 50-50. Good. Why is he spending this political capital on pushing this tariff plan? I think he honestly believes that it's working. I think he honestly believes in this, right? Because it is popular, right? So now, why would I show you that? Because when you look now at this, when you specifically go to tariffs, it's reversed. People don't like his tariff program. I get it completely. So he's gambling on the tariff thing. Here.
New 25% tariffs on most foreign-made vehicles and parts are expected to drive up prices this week. Our new poll finds 64% say President Trump has not focused enough on lowering costs.
Yes, So they're saying he's not focusing enough on the economy. Most Americans do believe that to be true, right? So I get it. They believe that. He's doing it anyway.
55% of the public believes the
And this
president
again is from last week.
too much on tariff.
Again, this is the same poll that made him 50-50 overall. So overall, he's 50-50, but he's getting hammered on this.
Which they think could raise prices. In a phone call with NBC News, President Trump said his tariffs are absolutely permanent.
Permanent. They are permanent.
Couldn't care less if foreign
Doesn't care.
automakers raise their prices in response.
Americans.
This is an issue. This is a gamble. And that's my point. Trump is gambling. He is gambling. I'm not sure why. I think he honestly believes this. I hope he's right. But this is about a 1 or 2 year gamble. 2 years now. It's about a 1 year gamble. It's a 1 year gamble. There's actually a piece here where literally I'm going to show you this piece right now. This is where the unions are 100% behind him. And this is a part that I think he gets. He brought them to his event, and they are behind him.
American manufacturing jobs.
We've seen over 90,000 manufacturing facilities leave the United States. Look, tariffs aren't the total solution. Tariffs are a tool in the toolbox to get these companies to do.
You see, guy runs the unions. This guy he's behind him.
And the intent behind it is to bring jobs back.
The policy is confusing some U.S. cars.
And so I bring this up only because I want you to realize that this is what he is gambling on. And I don't know if it's the right gamble to be full with you. I don't know what it is. But when he went to his event and he's talked about his tariffs, the union guy who showed up and spoke with him actually said, we're not going to see the benefits for 6 months to a year, but we believe in you. That's what he said. So I think they believe that. I don't think it's an act. I don't think it's an act. I think it's a gamble. And here's the reality. If all of a sudden, if Trump is correct, if he is, and those jobs actually come back and America starts manufacturing, if he's correct, he is going to be so popular. He is going to make Democrats' heads want to explode. If it actually happens. If it doesn't happen, you will never hear the end of it from Democrats. They will be attacking all day, all night, like there's no tomorrow. All day, all night, like there's no tomorrow. That is what you will see happen. But I think it is a gamble, but I get what he's doing. Now, here's the second piece I'm going to move on the Trump side. Elon Musk. I told you all weeks ago, months ago now, I said Trump is not unhappy with Elon at all. He's not, because it takes all the attacks from him on Elon. Elon is the new bad guy, right? It's no longer Orange Man bad. It's Spaceman bad. So now it's Spaceman bad. They're blowing up the Tesla cars and all that kind of stuff. It's now all Spaceman bad, right? That's what it is. And for him, that's awesome. He's like, great, Spaceman bad. Yes, Spaceman bad. So what happens? They want this Wisconsin thing, right? They want this Wisconsin thing. So does Trump go over there? No. He sends Elon. If Elon wins, Trump says, see, Trump is, I'm the God King. I'm awesome. If Trump loses, that's because, if Elon loses, well, because Elon sucks. And Elon lost. For those who don't know, there was a Wisconsin judge race that Elon Musk dropped $25 million on. Physically went there, wore cheesehead hat on, did the whole thing. He went there and spent $25 million on a judge race. Never happened before, that much money, and lost. It goes back to what I've been telling you guys for a long time. If you're a Republican, you may be thinking, wow, Republicans are winning. Well, that's true. Accurate statement. Republicans are winning. But it isn't because Americans all of a sudden like Republicans, right? That's to remember. It isn't because all of a sudden Americans like Republicans. That's not true. It is Trump specifically. He is a phenomenon. And both Republicans and Democrats hate when I say that. Democrats because they hate him. Republicans because they want the Republican Party to be winning. But the reality of it is Trump is a phenomenon. He just is. And I'm not a massive fan. You know that. I've been very open. But I have eyes. I have ears. I can see it. He is a phenomenon. And because of that, if he's not on the ballot, it doesn't move. He's not great at endorsing people and them winning. He's not great at that. Other people who are better at that. He's not great at that. his people he wants, they don't all of a sudden win. That's not what always happens, right? But when he's on the ballot, stuff moves because he's a phenomenon. That's the issue. He is the phenomenon. And without him, it doesn't go as well. People don't like Elon. Not anymore. Because again, why? Why? Same reason they don't like RFK Jr. They see Elon as a traitor, right? They see him as a traitor. He used to be a Democrat. Now he's become a Republican. He's a traitor. He's untrustworthy. He's no good. They don't like him. So he's the worst now. He can't be embraced by Republicans. He's not really a Republican, right? And he can't be embraced by Democrats because he's a traitor. So nothing but bad. He's losing. And Trump's like, okay, whatever. Trump's talking about, oh, we won in Florida, so we won. Trump's pretending like Wisconsin never happened. He's like, Wisconsin never happened. Whatever. I don't know. That's Elon. That's not me. That's Elon. That's somebody else. And let me, if I can show you that piece here. This part is a little bit under. This is a part from the Young Turks talking about Elon. You know, I'm going to grab some comments. You guys do a lot of comments. I will grab some of those in a second too.
Elon Musk, simply put, is an unpopular guy. He is political poison. It was clear.
He's political poison. We just saw how good Trump is doing, and then we go there and we see him nothing but bad.
Really a vote against what's going on right now in Washington.
Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, calling the Democratic brand absolutely
Now, this, what you're hearing right now, this is CNN. Gavin Newsom calling it toxic. Yeah.
toxic and really problematic. Have Democrats shown yet that they are giving voters anything to vote for, or is it simply just against Donald Trump?
That's the key right there. Why aren't Democrats all of a sudden taking advantage of this and wiping the floor with Republicans? Why not? Because they still don't have a plan. Elon Musk gave them the opportunity with his failure in Wisconsin to do something. And their response was, oh, wait, nothing. The response was nothing. Let me get rid of that piece there. And the response was nothing. Yeah, the response was, we don't care. We're just going to yell and scream. That's the issue. Let me grab a couple of these comments. And I have a couple more things I want to pop up here, but I will grab a couple of comments. Let's see here. Vivek says, also, the tariffs are not bad. The tariffs are not as high as other countries put on our goods. Yeah, he did the half thing, right? For those of you who don't know, he did reciprocal tariffs half, which means if you are tariffing us at 50%, we tariff you at 25%. I don't know if any of that's going to work. I don't know. I mean, to be forward, I'm not a huge fan of tariffs in general, but I'm also not an expert on tariffs. I'm scared they're not going to work. But again, he's done crazier things than they worked. So I hope they will. That's all I can say, Vivek. I hope they will. Dave says, I don't think the tariffs will achieve what Trump thinks they will, but it's better than his original plan. True. True. Yes. We will see. True. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Dave goes on to say, I think Musk lost millions spent on a losing rate. Yes, he is losing. Without question, of all the four people I talked about, I haven't got to the Democrats yet, both Republicans. Clearly, Elon is losing. Trump is gambling, but it might be a win. I don't know. We have 6 months to figure this one out. But he is rolling the dice on something which I don't get. Robert says the unemployment rate is 4%. What jobs would tariffs bring back? Immigrant jobs? No. The unemployment rate is no longer a valid stat because you have 8 million men who've checked out who don't go into that rate, right? You have 8 million men who've checked out who aren't there because they're not looking for work. For those who don't know, the unemployment rate depends upon people looking for work. So if you stop looking for work, you're not included in that. You're also not included in underemployment. And depending on who you talk to, from like recruiters to LinkedIn to surveyors, depending upon who you talk to, there's somewhere between 20 and 30, 40%, 20 and 40%, somewhere in that area of people who consider themselves underemployed, which means I have a master's degree, but I'm a barista, right? I have a degree in this and now I'm building houses, that kind of thing. They consider themselves underemployed. The reason why it's so varied is how do you decide who's underemployed? That's my opinion, right? Unless you literally just say, if you have a college degree and you have a job that does not require a college degree, if you use that as a definition, it's probably around 15 to 20% of people who are employed who are underemployed. Again, if you use that definition. The problem is you could still be happy and be making good money in a job you're underemployed in. So that's why that number is so varied, because how do you realistically define that? But anyway, that 4% does not count underemployed also. So the concept, Robert, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you asked the question, so I'm going to answer it. The concept is you would bring back better jobs for those who are underemployed to take, option one. And option two, again, conceptually, you would bring jobs in that those men who've checked out would want to come in and take. So believe that if you want, but I answered your question. So Lunatic with the 499, thank you. In the house, Lunatic. Larry, is our Rumble show your biggest video on Rumble? Taxes are taxes, no matter what they call them. I did very well on that Rumble show. You know what? I think it was. We had like 400 views on Rumble, which is very high for me. Rumble, I usually don't get more than about 200 views on Rumble usually, give or take. So yeah, we had a lot. The Rumble show that Lunatic and I did last weekend, Sunday, if you want to check that one out, did very well. About 400 views, give or take, if I remember right. I mean, last time I checked. So it's a lot for Rumble. I will easily get 400 views on like Facebook, sometimes on YouTube, but often on Facebook and Twitter. Twitter and Facebook, I very often break. Getter also, I often break 500 views in those three. If I add up, this goes live on 8 platforms. If I add up all my platforms, I get several thousand views if I add them all up. So yeah. But for Rumble, I usually don't get one about 200 is my highest. I used to get around 150 in that area. So yes, Lunatic, we did very well. So thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it. So I do appreciate that. Thank you. So Markel says, Trump is a pawn. Pawn of whom? Is it of whom? For whom? Whichever. Kim says, people don't want to pay the price to support Americans. If they supported Americans, they would be boycotting foreign made goods without the forced tariffs. Nicely done, Kim. Nicely done. Yes. Missy says, you can highlight your question or comment to read live with a super chat. It moves you to first line. She's right. You can also click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo if you like what you're hearing. I'm going to give you even more juice and some background stuff you haven't even heard about. I'm going to give you some of that too. So you click the like button so I can keep doing it. If you click the like button, you know what actually happens? It's free, number one. It's free. Only costs you a little click with your finger or your toe or your nose or whatever appendage you want to use. I'm not judging you. Whatever you want to use, you can click that button. It's all good. When you do that, Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, Mr. Rhythm, he decides, oh, I like this, and I will then put it in other places. So please do that, but not just that. You might go, Larry, I did that. Okay, great. Have you reposted this show someplace else? Have you shared it someplace else? You haven't. Well, then why do you hate the children? I don't understand why. I don't get it. The last thing I'll ask you to do, well, not last, but the next thing I'll ask you to do is, have you followed me on Facebook and Rumble and X on Sharpe? Have you followed me on all 3 of those? You haven't. Why do you hate the troops? You hate the troops now. I don't know why you hate troops. First you hate children, now you hate troops. Why are you a hater? Stop being a hater and follow me. It does matter. And if you subscribe to me on Sharpe YouTube page, and if you have not, now I know you hate me personally, head over to YouTube Sharpe Show and subscribe and click all notifications so that you can know when I go live on YouTube and jump into cool chat. It does matter. If you do want to super chat me, you can, or you can rant me on Rumble. Either one works. Membership is always awesome. If you want to, click that join button on YouTube or click that subscribe button on Rumble. Either of those works very well. So please do that if you would. It does matter. It is important. All righty. Space Jason over on Rumble says, it's wild how Democrats are engaging in absolute violent domestic terror. And now you're gonna get me canceled in domestic treason. And people are so casually dismissing it. It's a pre-civil stuff. These people are insane. They are going nuts, but that's why Musk is losing, because his stuff's getting blown up. They're tearing him to pieces, and now people don't like him, and he had failure. So yes. So Chris Kyle says to Kim, spot on, Kim. There we go. That's over on Instagram. So on Instagram, they like you, Kim. See that? All good. So let me grab a couple more before I keep moving. All righty. Morgan says one nation under blackmail. Is that a thing? Is that really a thing? Maybe. I'm not sure. Dave says Elon Musk is the biggest loser. Not wrong. All right, let me keep moving if I could. I want to look at the next piece, which is this piece is what you just heard that person say on CNN. Is she said, if you remember, is this just people voting against Democrats? Is that what this is? I'm sorry, against Republicans, because Democrats don't give them anything to vote for. Well, yes. And I want to hit the next person, which is Cory Booker. People are acting like Cory Booker is winning. Maybe, but no, not really. Cory Booker did a nice stunt, and it is an impressive stunt. I don't want to put down the stunt that he did. Talking and standing for 25 hours straight is impressive. It broke the record filibustering. That's an impressive stunt. To be clear, it's just a stunt, though. But it is an impressive one, right? It's one that I think many people could not do. So well done to Cory Booker for that stunt. It's a great stunt, and I am impressed by that. The issue is it effective? Is it working? No. I would ask, does anyone know what his plan was? None of you do, because there was none. There was no plan. He basically 25 hours to say, I want to be mad at Trump. Why would he do that? There was no bill he was stopping. Why would he do that? I'll tell you why I did that. To do two things. The number one thing is to make sure to let everyone know he's loyal to Chuck Schumer. The coup against Chuck Schumer has utterly failed. I told you it would last week. They stopped talking about it, right? Right? Remember that? Because they were talking so much about the Trump thing. Remember how important that Signalgate was? Signalgate was the end of the world. We got to start firing people. The world's ending. Really? Is that happening now? Oh, no, it wasn't. That was to get rid of that was to get the media to stop talking about the attempted coup against Schumer. I told you that, and that's what happened. Well, now here comes Mr. Booker. Why? To take some of the spotlight off of AOC and Bernie. Larry, that's like conspiracy. No, that's real. That's what actually is the reason why. What was his plan? Do you know a plan? Of course not. He talked for 25 hours for what? So he could go do all the news. Do you notice, did he do Fox News? No. Did Fox News even talk about it? Not really. Who talked about it? On MSNBC, CNN, how awesome he is, how amazing he is. Look how great you are. He was on all of them, and they were just petting him like he had just run a marathon that saved the lives of 45 people because he brought them all new hearts. That was how they acted. What did he actually do? He complained for 25 hours. I'm not joking. How do I know this? I'm going to give you an example from local TV talking about Cory Booker, supposedly. But listen how they start this. Now, this is a story about Cory Booker. One more time, in case you didn't hear what I said. This is a story about Cory Booker.
Plans to roll out a set of tariffs that he promises will free the U.S. from foreign goods.
Start with Trump.
However, many oppose his plan, with one senator going to extreme measures to voice his concerns. And Brooke is here with that. All those details. Brooke, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
All those details from Cory Booker's 25 hours. That's what she just said. And what's it start with? Tariffs. Trump. Tariffs. Trump.
Up T-minus 1 day until Liberation Day. Now, Liberation Day is what President Donald Trump is calling the rollout.
This is a story about Cory Booker. You wouldn't know that because they're only talking about Trump. Yes.
Out for his massive tariff plan. Starting Wednesday, President Trump plans to slap tariffs on all U.S. trading partners.
It's a story about Cory Booker.
Not just those with the largest trade deficits. The president has already placed tariffs on all foreign steel, aluminum, and cars. Supporters say the tariffs will lead to an economic boom. Opponents are worried about inflation or possible recession. Democratic New Jersey Senator Cory Booker took to the Senate floor last night to give a marathon speech against the tariffs.
Against tariffs. Okay.
Placing tariffs on our biggest trade partners is beyond unfair. This drives the cost of goods up, and the consumer is the one who ends up paying the increase. A lot of families are food insecure, wondering where their next meal is coming from. A lot of parents go without, so they're...
Now, this is a great stunt. It's perfect. It's a great stunt. I'm going to sit here and talk about poor people. I'm going to sit here and talk about how bad Trump is. Now, so many things. What did the reporter say? And the reporter, this is a local Fox station. And just on their YouTube page, on this one, they got over 60,000 views. They got more views than the online, like, breaking points and risings and stuff get when they talk about this, right? But this is local. People who watch local news vote, right? What did they hear? Cory Booker standing up to Trump, all about Trump. And then it was against the tariffs. Did he do 25 hours against the tariffs? No, it was, I hate Trump the whole way through. Yeah, very different way. This was a very good stunt.
Children can eat.
That's all it was.
Food pantries and banks are scrambling to meet demand. Over and over.
Booker started speaking yesterday at 4 p.m.
There we go. So that's what this is all about. And that piece, I'm telling you, not great, right? Not great, right? That's the piece. So Lunatic says he drew the last straw. He lost the selection process and was made to do 25 hours. Not at all. He volunteered for that. I can guarantee you he volunteered for that. Guaranteed he did. No. Booker likes the spotlight a lot. And he's good at this kind of stuff. No. He volunteered for this. Guaranteed Lunatic. He was like, oh, yeah, I got you. 100%. Look, he still wants to run for president again. He still thinks he's the guy who can bring everyone together. He still believes that. Right? Whether you do or not, I'm not saying. But I'm telling you, I can look him in the eye. He's got the fever. He's got the fever. He honestly believes that. There's no doubt he does. 100% he does. So that's what he wants to do. Uh-oh, that's the wrong one. All right. So yes. Phil says Booker's one of the few that can do it without a walker. True. Most of them would have to be in a wheelchair. Which, yeah. So good point. So anyway, I thought you guys might enjoy that piece because the local people don't even care, right? Now, here is Counterpoints talking about it. Now, Counterpoints gets nowhere near as many views as this local news does, right? It gets a whole lot more views. But what are they talking about? Again, this is a story about, all the things that Cory Booker did and how awesome he is, I guess, in theory, right? And what is this one talking about? Strom Thurmond.
So that's how long this guy served.
Yeah, they're just kind of laughing and joking about Strom Thurmond. That's it. Where's the plan?
In the United States Senate.
There is no plan.
One of the most vitriolic segregationists.
So they went back to race and nothing. What he did was nothing. What he did was nothing. Yes. Pete says, what happens if the Republican Party has no ideas? The Democratic Party have bad ideas. Have the roles been reversed? Yes, Pete, they have. That's what I'm saying. Yes, they have. Literally true. That's what has happened. Absolutely true. Yes. So, yeah, I am worried about this, right? I am worried about this because of that exact issue. So, let me see here. Shin says, to your point, Larry, Trump does stunts like this all the time. How is it any different? Because Trump actually has policies. Now, I'm not saying I agree with them, but again, I say this on both sides. If you think I'm one-sided, you are completely wrong, right? I've said this on both sides. When you have a party that has ideas, another one that doesn't, people will follow the one with ideas, good or bad. The reason why you heard, the reason why you just heard the idea of Democrats being the party of bad ideas and Republicans being the party of good ideas, what Pete just said, is because in New York, that's how it is. And I say it all the time. In New York, Democrats have all the ideas, right? We're going to do congestion pricing. We're going to tax the rate, whatever. And Republicans in New York State have no ideas. So New Yorkers vote Democrat because they have ideas. Ones I think are bad, but they still have them. In the case of nationally, Republicans have ideas. You see it. They're telling you we're gonna bomb Iran. We're gonna tariff the world. Whatever. Those are ideas. The Democrats have what? Trump is bad. That's all they have. No idea. At a national level, Democrats have no ideas. So it is different. It's different because one side has ideas, the other one has other guy bad. That's and again, in New York, it's reversed. New York State is a reverse of the country. the reverse of the country. I hope that's clear. That's why. Shannon also goes on to say, Larry, we should all be happy that Strom Thurmond no longer holds the record of longest syllables. I don't care. That's exactly what Cory Booker just did. Virtue signaling. Why do I give a shit? Does it make anything better? No, it's virtue signaling. Well, now a black man has it instead of Strom Thurmond. So? It's virtue signaling. And that's the problem. At a national level, all the Democrats have is virtue signaling. Nothing else. Where was Cory Booker's idea on how to fix the economy? Do you remember it? No one was talking about it because it didn't exist. Where was his plan to fix Medicare? Nowhere. What was his plan to fix the budget? He had none. What was his plan to deal with foreign policy? How's he going to end the Iraq? Look at where my head is. The Israeli-Gaza war. How's he going to end Ukraine? No answers. None of the Democrats have that. This is why it matters. Virtue signaling is all the Democrats have, and that's how you fall back to it. Don't get me wrong. In New York, it's the same with Republicans. Or Republicans, they'll say things like, we need the death penalty for people who kill cops. They'll talk about that, which is virtue signaling for Republicans. It's never going to happen in New York State. New York State's never going to death penalty. That's not a thing we're going to. They know it's impossible, not going to happen at all. But Republicans will say that. Why? Virtue signaling. Because they can't win in New York. So they're just virtue signaling instead. Democrats are getting their butt kicked across the country. So virtue signaling. That's the difference. And virtue signaling is nothing but bad. It does not help at all. It just makes people believe that something's happening when it's not. That's why I'm so against it. It makes people believe that something's happening when it's not. Straight Ann is over on Rumble. Thank you for the $5, my friend. Is the tariff imposed on the wholesale or retail price? Interesting math in my mind. Always wholesale. Now, that means it affects the retail, right? The tariff is not imposed at retail. It's imposed on wholesale. In theory, when the wholesaler gets it, they could just eat the tariff and keep the price the same. Why would I even say that? Because if they want to dump, they may do it. And dumping means you purposely lose money to gain market share. Sometimes people do that. Companies do that when they have a massive investor who's throwing money in them and saying, "Hey, we can wait, for a year or two to make any money." They will then eat a tariff on purpose, lose money on purpose for X number of months or quarters or years to gain market share so people like their product, then raise the pricing later and then make up money in the past. That does sometimes happen. So straight and in theory, could the retail price stay the same? Yes, but really only if that company is doing a dumping strategy. Otherwise, no. It's imposed on the wholesale, and that of course carries over to retail. Generally speaking, whatever you make something for, if it's sold through normal wholesale channels and goes to a retailer from manufacturing, it's about 6 times the price. I'm not joking, just so everyone can make money. So if my cup costs me, 25 cents to make, it's at least 6 times more than that to sell at retail, at least, right? So that should be a good assumption for you. Now, if you throw a tariff on top of that, that of course multiplies even more. So I hope that answers your question. So yes. All righty. Let me look and see where we are here. And thank you, Andrew, for becoming a member. Thank you, my friend. Membership does matter. The more members I have, the less I have to, more I can do this. And I like to do more of this if I could. So the more we can do it, the better. So yes. All right. Let me keep going here. Morgan says, politicians are voting responsibility and passing the buck. Nah. Well, yeah. Leela says, yay, Larry. Sharpe, you get it. I do get it. That's true. Rick says, thank you for being a member, Rick. I have Rumble up on my TV to see how Larry plays on that platform. I am handsome either way, Rick. I'm still a good-looking man. It doesn't really matter. So, yes. Guillermo says, good evening, Larry. I have a question. Could Trump make changes to allow Elon to run for president? No, he could not make changes. There are 2 ways that Elon could run for president. 2. Way number 1, there is an actual amendment to the Constitution, which, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that you're asking how. They'd have to get an amendment to the Constitution to obviously allow non-born people who are not born American citizens to run for president, right? So that's option one. They have to make an amendment to the Constitution. Option number two, which is what Cenk Uygur was doing, you could sue and have the Supreme Court make a decision. Now, why would you do this? I think it's the 14th. Think 14th. That's literally states it. You can't treat people differently whether they're born citizens or not. I forgot which. I think it's 14th. That you would do it based on the 14th Amendment. You would sue, saying the 14th Amendment, because it's an amendment to the Constitution later on, it now supersedes the original Constitution. This would be a lawsuit, right? And so now you can't discriminate naturalized citizens versus not natural citizens. And because of that, now anyone who is now an American could run for president. Now, that has not been done, right? But that is a theoretical lawsuit you could do. If you did that lawsuit and if the Supreme Court agreed, I'm not saying they would. Again, Guillermo, I'm not saying they would agree. I'm saying that's one way of doing it. You go down that road if the Supreme Court says, you're right, the 14th Amendment supersedes the Constitution because it's an amendment, Elon can run. So that would be one way. The other way would be to have an actual amendment to the Constitution, which now states that you don't have to be a natural American citizen to run for president. Those are only two ways. No other way you can do it. So I do not think he can run for vice president either. Now, there's a problem with that, of course, because vice president isn't clear. Back in the day, we made up this vice president ticket thing based upon parties. That's not really a thing. We made it up. In the Constitution, that's not what it said. The vice president was the person who got the second amount of votes, not some party ticket that we made up because the parties took everything. So could you run as VP? I think not, because you wouldn't be, I don't know. I'm not sure what is the wording serve or elected. I have to look at the actual wording of the Constitution if you could actually do a VP. I don't really know. So yeah, there may be a lawsuit on that one too. There may be a lawsuit on that. So that would be my other issue. Duke of Facts, thank you for the $5, my friend. Can we just agree that Utopia is outside the scope of human nature? Dude, no. We just need like 4 more laws, like 3 more gun laws, like 4 more laws, and just 10 gulags. That's it. Like 10 more gulags, Duke, and 4 more laws, and 3 more gun laws. Then Utopia. You don't trust the socialist system, my friend. Those others, those weren't real, right? Is my camera doing this again? There we go. Yes. Those other, the other time you saw socialism, that wasn't real. That wasn't real socialism, right? You just need a couple more gulags, a couple more laws, few more gun laws, and boom, magic utopia. Trust the system, dude. Just trust the system. So you got to do. I mean, they wrote it in the book, Marx, right? He wrote that. Didn't he write that? Yeah, we're good. Trust Marx. He knows what he's talking about. So anyway, so I wanted you to see that. Next one I want to talk to, if I could. And this one is AOC and Bernie. Now, how are they doing? Let me show you how they're doing. This right here is their website, the Fighting Oligarchy Tour. Join us. Look at those pics. Killing it, right? Look at all these dates. Los Angeles, Vegas, Colorado, Arizona. Look at them go. Donate. Give us some more money. We good to go. Give us cash. This is your movement. See, Bernie said so right there. Your movement. Give us the cash. Organize. This, by the way, is brilliant. It's brilliant. Now you might go, Larry, that's not that. No, it's brilliant. If it wasn't brilliant, Cory Booker wouldn't have gone out. You wouldn't have seen Cory Booker if this wasn't brilliant. It's brilliant. Now, the problem is you might go, wait a minute, Larry. If it's so brilliant, why aren't they winning? Because they still don't have any plans. Now, next thing is, well, Bernie Sanders, he's like 109. He's like 83 or something. So, yeah, he's I get it. He's old. But AOC's like 35. And, again, when it comes to charisma in the Democratic Party, AOC's got it. There aren't many people in the Democratic Party, right, to Phil's point, many of them need walkers and wheelchairs, right? AOC, she could be their granddaughter, right? So she's out there doing the work. This is not a bad deal for her. Now, if they had a plan, it'd be nice too, but they don't have a plan. But at least people are starting to think like it's working. They're out there talking about it. They're out there trying to make things happen. I know that's an issue. Let me tell you why. Because Fox News got some cope. This was Fox News last week talking about this. I'll give you this piece too. All righty. Are we sharing it? We're good. All right.
For you. Let's get your take on the absolute meltdown and circular firing squad in the Democratic Party, and now the emergence of AOC and Bernie Sanders.
Now, of course, this is Hannity. He's got to insult. That's what he starts, of course. They're all terrible. Bad, bad, bad. Got it. He does that. But then he says, but the emergence, he admits, of Bernie and AOC. Yes, it's a real thing. AOC is setting herself up for the future. She's the one who tested the waters for the coup against Schumer. Now, people are like, she's going to take over. She's not taking over. She tested the waters to get it going and then left and hung out with Bernie to go do her thing. The people inside were trying to get the press to turn on Schumer. Did not work at all. It was a little bit scary for about a week or so. Didn't work. Now Booker comes out. Now all of a sudden, Signalgate was the best thing that could have possibly happened to Schumer. Signalgate comes out and everyone's talking about Signalgate like it's the end of the world. Oh my God, we're all going to die because of it. And boom, here we go.
As their lead spokespeople.
First of all, it's great to be on with you, Sean, and I love what Caroline Levitt was saying. Here's what it's coming down to. They're all competing right now to see what the market's going to do. I actually don't mind the fact that AOC's out there with Bernie doing what they're doing. Their biggest enemy is the Democratic establishment party is not going to let them have any kind of attention. They fear them. They don't want them to have any attention. If that was the case, they would have let Bernie win many years ago when he was going up against.
He's not wrong. This is why I was talking about the Bernie Sanders and AOC going out there. Now Cory Booker coming out there and trying to take some of the shine out. And it worked. Cory Booker came out and on every single left-leaning or mainstream media outlet, Cory Booker was the center. AOC and Bernie were forgotten. He's not wrong on this one. They do not want that to happen.
Against Hillary, they don't stand a chance. They can do what.
Now, here's the next piece. If you remember, AOC sold out. She sold out because she was told, she did it twice, by the way. It took her a long time to learn her lesson. If you remember a couple years back, I think, was it, oh my God, what was it? I forgot what it was for, but there's a video of her like crying as she votes, changes her vote because Nancy Pelosi was like, got to do it for us. And she did it. Then she backed away from everything again just last year, 2 years ago, because they were going to primary her, right? They were going to primary her and get rid of her. She wouldn't get in line. So she's like, okay, I'll sell it again. And people started seeing her as a sellout. But here's the worst part. They didn't reward her. The Democratic establishment is so aggressive and so mean that they made her sell out and didn't reward her. Now, they didn't do it to Bernie either. Same thing to Bernie. Bernie sold out, didn't reward him either. But Bernie has his own people who are behind him like no matter what. No matter what. If you know people who love Bernie, they love Bernie. So he's got his people. So what's Bernie doing now? He's handing it off to her. That's what's actually happening. And if she actually if she's savvy enough, and I don't know if her team's that savvy. I don't know her team at all. I have no inside information on this. I don't know her team at all. If her team is savvy, they will take everything that Bernie's picking up, setting down, they'll pick it all up, and she will then be the equivalent of a Thomas Massie on the left. What I mean by that, Thomas Massie's untouchable in Kentucky. Remember, they tried to impeach him. They tried to primary him, and they couldn't. He's untouchable. He has his own system, his own people. They all love him. He's untouchable. He can vote against whoever he wants to vote. AOC saw that. And she's like, I want that. I wish I could be that person. You can't, though. You can't. And Bernie's too much of a sellout. Bernie's already sold out. So he's done. She has enough time to unsell out. She has enough time to do it. If she's savvy, and I hope her and her team are, her team's more important than her. Her team will get it or they won't. If she's got the right team, she's set. Her team will figure it out. They will go ahead and grab everything from Bernie. When Bernie walks away in 4 years, whenever he walks away, she will inherit the whole thing. She will be untouchable. And she can actually be her own person. I hope that's true and it happens. I would rather have more people be that way because she recognized that selling out got her nothing. So did Bernie Sanders. There's the common thread between the two. Why these two? They both sold out and got nothing. You might go, Larry, it doesn't make any sense. This is why Trump is more successful. Again, I'm not saying I like Trump, but Trump is transactional. If you give him X and say, then give me Y, he gives you Y. That's what happens. If you say, Trump, I'll give you X, give me Y, he goes, deal's a deal, right? He told libertarians, support me, and I'll free Ross. He did. He told the Maha people, support me, and I'll put RFK Jr. as ahead of HHS. He did. Now he doesn't care about us anymore, but that's fine. He's transactional. You wanted this, you got it. You wanted that, you got it done. Democrats understand how it actually works. They're the real, Republicans in general are the mob. Trump isn't. Trump is a savvy mob boss who wants to make sure people trust him when he says yes or no. That's the difference. He learned that in being, as I tell you all the time, who is Trump actually? He's a New York City developer. That's his actual personality. He's a New York City developer. He learned that lesson trying to build stuff in New York City, right? Be aggressive, be transactional, be aggressive, be transactional. Everyone developer I know in New York City is that way. If you know anybody, they're the same way. So anyway, I'm going long on this, but my point here being, the Democrats recognize how it actually works is, and I tell you this all the time, this is the mafia. If you don't have leverage, then you cannot enforce your contracts. There's no cops to call. There's no judges to go to. You have an agreement? Great. Can you enforce it with leverage? No, your agreement means nothing. Your agreement's garbage. I don't care. So when Bernie get rid of all his leverage, the Democrats said, oh, you have no leverage? I'm giving you nothing. When AOC threw her leverage away, they went, nothing. What is AOC doing right now? Gaining leverage. That's what she's gaining right now, gaining leverage. If her team is savvy enough. They know that. Schumer knows that. They all know that. Now, here's the problem in the Democratic Party, which is why Sean Hayes called it a circular firing squad. The Democrats don't know how long Schumer and Pelosi are going to be in charge. They don't know who the new guy or gal who's going to jump on top is going to be. They're not sure. They don't know how strong AOC is going to be. So some of them are kind of hedging their bets. Some aren't. Some are like, nope, I'm behind the establishment. Some are like, is AOC going to do something in a couple of years? I want to be her friend. That's happening now in the back. Just so you get what's actually happening. That's what's actually happening here, and why Patrick said what he said. That's why this is going this way. That's why I want to share that with you. I thought you might enjoy that. Let me grab Peace. Peace, thank you for the $50, my friend. Thank you. Utopia is possible. We are in a virtual reality. That's why we have all these wars. We like drama. That's true. Yeah. But there are many other realities. What can we define? What we can define, we can materialize. What are details of Utopia? People stumble to define it. This is, you go back to the virtual reality, and it goes back to the original Matrix movie, right? If you remember the background, for those of you who've seen the Matrix, 1999, 2000, 99, right? In that area. Anyway, it's in that area. Keanu Reeves, obviously the Matrix, famous movie. They talk about how when the machines built the Matrix in the first time, they made it a utopia. And in their minds, everybody was taken care of. There was no problems, and it didn't work. The people wouldn't believe, and they'd fight back. So Utopia isn't everything perfect, because you're right, Peace, we do like drama. Utopia is there's drama and there's problems, but problems that we can get over. That's what actual Utopia is for humans. It is problems and issues that we can get over, that we can move on from, that we can solve, right? What's the perfect video games? It's a tough video game that we can win. That's the best video games. That's the best virtual reality. That's the best everything. The best everything is something challenging that we can win. You want to make a utopia? You will have a world to where if people just try hard, they can win. If they don't try hard, they don't win. And that has to also be part of utopia. Because if it is part of utopia, then the people who do try hard and win, they go, see, try with me. And then they help others to try hard and win. Utopia is just like a good video game. It is challenging enough to where that when we win, we gain self-esteem and we gain respect for ourselves. That's utopia. So I did not stumble to define it. I did define it. There we go. See that? You didn't know, you guys did not know you would get a definition, right? For Utopia. But you did. You got one. See how good that is? So I hope that was interesting for you guys to see that part here. So yes. Let me keep going if I can. Let's see here. Mastermind, thank you for being a member, says, I still don't put past the wrong possibility that Elon Musk is torturing his own dealerships for insurance fraud on product you can no longer move. Ooh. Well, there is insurance. Maybe. I could. That's not crazy. Phil says, I don't know if Elon stepping down from CEO of Tesla ends the violence. It might. Because again, people want to punish him. It might. That's the goal, right? Remember, it's spaceman bad. So that would be the issue. It's really spaceman bad. So yes. Phil says, Cory Booker was trying to win back Rosario Dawson. I don't blame him for that. She's pretty hot. So yeah. Okay. Did it work? Do you know if she called him? Baby, I was kidding. Is that what happened? Maybe. So yes. Rick says, YouTube cheated me out of a slice of Larry. The video didn't start when I started, and I see him on a different tab. Oh, that's odd. I don't know why that happened. That shouldn't have happened. Yeah. I don't know. So Michael says, give me a script for some Ritalin and some tacos, and I'll do twice that. You can do 50 hours. Okay. I like it. I like that. Andrea says, Cory Booker just wanted to get his name back into the media. 100% true. That's why I'm saying I know he volunteered. Andrea, I know he volunteered. There's no doubt. I think you're correct. You get it. You read him right. Yes, absolutely. So Straight N over on Rumble says, if AOC and Bernie hire Larry, the Republicans are in big trouble. Accurate, but they would never do so. But yes. If Democrats actually hired me, they could actually be successful. 100%. Because I understand what people want and how to cross over. Right? That's the issue. And you see me, I tell it like it is, whether I agree with them or not. I don't care. If, as a political consultant, if you need me to help, if you hire me, I need to help you win. I don't have to agree with your policies. Do you think I agree with the policies of everybody I'm working with? Of course not. If you want to have the policies that you agree with, you run yourself. And I do. And when I run, I love all my policies because they're mine. When I'm not running, I don't love them all. I take the ones I can take. I help them say the ones better that they can say better. And we move on. There's lots of candidates I work with which are like, I want to bomb everybody. Okay. How do we say that better? So yes, you're correct. So we'll see if they will, but I doubt if you have any connections, you know what? I have tried before. What I have found, general rule, Democrats don't even talk to me. They won't talk to me. Want zero to do with me. Zero. Republicans are more open to talk to me. I've talked with far more Republicans than I have Democrats. It's just true. That's how I know them so well. So yes. All righty. Let me keep going if I can. Dave says to Guillermo, Trump could issue an executive order authorizing Musk run for president. However, Trump will just run for a third term. He's going to do that. Yes. And I do think Trump could actually run for a third term. I think he can. And I don't think he'll do it in a way that is, violent. I don't think the way he wants to go. But he'll do something like, he'll do one of two things. It will be a lawsuit, right? It will be a lawsuit. He will either sue saying something like the amendment itself is unconstitutional, which there are people who say that, right? They say that amendment itself is wrong and un-American. Like that amendment should be null and void. That's a lawsuit that people have already talked about before. That all term limits are anti-American, anti-democratic, so that would be one way of doing it. And again, that's never happened before where a court would actually go, oh my God, yeah, an amendment is unconstitutional. We have to basically repeal the amendment, right? That kind of thing. So it's basically asking for a repeal without having to repeal. It's the court just going, no. That will be one way. So I'm not against, I think they could do that. The second thing they could do is they could claim that since the second one, in their minds, YouTube was stolen, in their minds, just saying in their minds, that they could say that and say that that there has to be some remuneration for that. And then that will be another term. So there'll be some type of lawsuit that he'll try to get passed and see if the Supreme Court agrees. It's tough, right? I don't know how you do it, but that would be the way they would do it. If that were to be done, it'd be something like that. So yes. Lunatic says the media thinks we are the morons. True. Accurate. Yes. Accurate. Absolutely. So, all righty. Mastermind says he wanted to beat Strom Thurmond's record. He did. And look, I want to be clear on this. It is an impressive stunt. I don't want to take anything away from the guy. Stand up and talk for 25 hours is a big deal. So, yes, it is impressive. I just don't think, but I think if you look at this 2 weeks from now, I don't think I'm going to even talk about it anymore. It's over. It's a nice stunt, but it's done. Maybe in a week even. A week or two, it's gone. People talking about the tariffs already. So Trump took away that already. And look, the thing that people don't want to get is if AOC and Bernie keep pulling 20 or 30,000 people, if that keeps happening 2-3 weeks from now, that's the story. That's the story. Now I know there's already cope. The cope on the left is doesn't matter. We're gonna keep fighting. See, look, we have Cory Booker. See, we have our establishment people who can fight. Doesn't matter. Ignore those people. We control the media. That's Democratic cope. Republican cope is it doesn't matter. They're busting those people. It's not real. It's fake. Both of those are cope. The reality of it is people are showing up to see these guys talk. Why? Because they got nothing else. They got nothing else. That's what are you looking for? Of the 50% of Americans who aren't happy with Trump, where are they going to go? It's there or nothing. That's the sad part. So anyway, all righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. Cage says he did all those hours and so the energy to text me this morning and ask me for money. I blocked him. Well, to be forward, I don't think it was him, but Cage, John, if he's actually texting you, after that, he must really like you. You are special. If he actually did 25 hours and said, you know who I got a text? Cage, John. Just saying. You're a special person. Not too shabby. So yes. Michael says Trump is going for the Nobel Peace Prize and Cory Booker is going for a Guinness listing. They may both get what they want, Michael. They may both get what they want. And look, I'm not mad at Cory for this. Well done. I keep saying it's great. Good for him, right? To do that. Good for him. That's all. Good for him. So, Shelly, how are you? Thank you for being a member. I surveyed food insecure people in my county. 93% of non-working parents, 4 were men, skip meals so that kids and the worker have enough to eat. So Booker said one thing true without giving solutions. Yes. Oh, look, very, very clear. If you look, we say this all the time, right? Look at Democrats, Republicans in general. If you want to know what's wrong with the country, ask a Democrat. You want to know what's right with the country, ask a Republican. They're usually both correct. The question is, do they have any answers for anything? Right? That's the question. Usually no for both. So yeah, but is Cory Booker correct? Yes. Is he giving us data that's real? Yes. I don't doubt his data at all, Shelly. I think you're right. I don't doubt his data. Okay, how are we going to fix it? Trump is bad. Okay, got it. Trump's bad. Okay, well, how are we going to fix it? Spaceman bad. Okay, Spaceman's bad. Great. How are we going to fix it? Did I tell you Trump was bad? You did. You told me that. Did I tell you Spaceman's bad? You did. Yes, I'm aware they're both bad. How are we going to fix that problem? I'm going to call Rosario. Okay, you go call Rosario, see if she has an answer. So we'll see. That's what basically happened. So, yes. I wish it was something better. I wish it was something better. So, yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Grab a couple more of these. A lot to go back and forth. I do appreciate that too. Amazing. All right. Robert says, underemployment is a problem. True. I'm not sure how utilizing tariffs to try and encourage U.S. manufacturing jobs is going to help those underemployed. The BLS conducts a survey every month. They include underemployed and people utilizing social services. You're assuming that I'm agreeing with the tactic, Robert. All I'm saying is I knew it was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen. I'm hoping for the best. Right? I'm hoping for the best. That's all I can tell you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just telling you what's happening, right? The reality of it is still most people, and even recently Dave Smith has turned a lot on Trump too. But even he said it, right? And he voted for Trump. And he openly said it. But even he said the alternative was worse. And I agree with that. If Harris would have won, there is literally no change in anything at all. Nothing. Just the end. Nothing. At a minimum, Trump is shaking things up to see if there's going to be change. It's not great. And it's shaking things up, so there's a whole lot of damage. True. But the problem is the system, Robert, has given us only two choices. No change at all or massive disruption. Now, you might go, Larry, that's not fair. It isn't fair. And I have tried, Robert, personally, myself, to change that system. For those who don't know, if you haven't been watching me very long, I ran for governor of New York twice, trying to change the rules to let third parties in, to let more people in. And I sued not just with me, libertarians, but also Green Party members, for the Green Party's in too, because I want more choice, more options to fix these things. I don't want this left-right paradigm which breaks everything. I raised $500,000 twice. So I spent $1 million trying to make that happen. $1 million and 2 years of my life that I threw away to make this happen. So I could get screwed over by Democrats with laws and Republicans with lawsuits. Both parties wrecked me. That's what I got from doing this. So if someone goes, well, Larry, you're sitting there talking trash, why don't you just, why don't you just vote for somebody or whatever? I tried to fix the system. More than what I can be sure of, more than anybody else who is in this space. I've spent more time and money and taken more ass whippings than anybody else in this space who's done this. That I can guarantee you. That I can guarantee you. So I have tried to fix this, Rob. I have. And I have failed twice. Someone else going to do it? Let them go do it. Someone else going to raise $1 million? Go raise it. Somebody else going to take 2 years out of their life? Go do it. I'm in. I will help you. Go do it. They're not gonna. They're gonna virtue signal and complain and go spaceman bad, orange man bad. Okay, yes. But you've made a system to where you either get no change or broken change, one or the other. And if people want change, they will take broken change. They'll take it all day, all night. We can see it. This is happening right now. So anyway, is my camera messing up? Hold on. What am I doing with my camera? There we go. All right. Anyway, so yes, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's how it's working. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. So anyway, let me keep going down here if I can. I'll grab a couple more of these because we have so many of them. I do appreciate it. So Lunatic says, no one is asking for Utopia. That's not true. Yes, they are. You aren't, but lots of people are. We just want the resources that are attributed to our labor. There's a lot of people who don't want to do any labor. I don't want any of them. So, yes. Morgan, check out the show Black Cheese. That was a funny show. Like the first couple of seasons was good, then it got dumb. So, yeah. Then it was a couple. So, yeah. Colidi says chocolate is Utopia. I miss chocolate. There is a brand of chocolate that is keto friendly. It's called Lily's. It's not bad, but it's not the real stuff. You know one of my favorite things? I'm going to get all hungry now. I'm actually fasting, which is funny. I'm fasting this. I fast at least one day, if not 2 or 3 days every month. I often fast for 2 days. It's a common thing I do. I'm in the middle of my fast now. I didn't have any dinner tonight. I won't eat tomorrow. So I'll do at least a day or two of fasting. And now you're going to get me all, I'm going to break my fast now. My favorite chocolate to have is dark chocolate covered graham crackers. Oh, So not keto and so delicious. And then with that, coffee with real sugar and cream in it. Oh, so good. So good. Don't eat anymore. Don't drink anymore. So yeah, I don't have sugar in my coffee anymore. I don't eat graham crackers anymore. So yeah, love that. I remember when I was actually in Germany, I bought some in a chocolate. I bought some, my mouth's watering now. I still remember it. I was in Berlin and I found a chocolate store, a local chocolate store, and it had dark chocolate covered graham crackers. And I bought I would like all of them, please. Just all of them. And yeah, I ate all of them that day. I didn't need dinner because I had chocolate covered graham crackers. Who requires dinner at that point? No one does, lady, because you are right. Chocolate is utopia. Accurate statement. Accurate statement. Phil says, I've noticed that the people who understand real violence are usually not the ones looking for it. Correct. Oh my God, correct. Yes. And the generals who've been to war don't want to go to war. Yes. Correct. Absolutely true. So, yeah. Andrea says, yes, just beat me into that utopia. There we go. Now, Phil went too far, though. He went chocolate, cheese, wine, and apples. No, just the chocolate. I mean, apples are nice. Chocolate. Yes. Phil says she's like 30. I think she's 36. Oh, is that right? I think 36. And she's in that area. Anyway, she's in that area. Something like that. So, all right. Morgan says, gulags, wellness camps. Definitely no similarity. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Yes. 100%. Phil says, PBD, I wonder if he's going to run for something. I think no. I know Patrick David. I've been on a show once before. I chatted with him here. I try to Phil, believe it or not, to get him to to help me and to be with me as a co-moderator for Libertarian Party debate. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. I tried to get him to. He wouldn't do it though. So yeah. I don't think he's gonna run for anything. I don't think so. I mean, he might. I mean, he's young enough, savvy enough. The problem is, does he really want to put himself through it? Right? He's doing very well now. Right? Why would he put himself through it? He's doing very well now, and he hasn't gotten to the level that he wants yet. Right? Maybe if he gets to a certain level where he's thinking about retiring or something, he might. My gut says he won't. I mean, I don't know for sure. I'm not that close to him. So I don't have any inside information, but my gut says he won't until like he's done in some way, shape, or form. He's still killing it with his show right now and stuff. So I don't know. Dave says Thomas Massie outperformed Trump in his district. Yes. So Thomas Massie knows his district. Trump, not as much. Correct. He's untouchable, Dave. He is. He's untouchable. That's true. He really is. Phil says, will AOC have a tougher time with the NYS Democrat machine? The establishment has enough resources to mobilize people against her. Yes, but. The problem is Democrats don't want to put any money into her district, right? They don't want to put money into her district. So now they got to put money in her district and then find somebody else to beat her. She has a district where she can just be in that district all day long. If she brings Bernie into her district, Phil, I know her district is my district. She's my congressperson. I know this district also very well. Bernie comes here, she wins. She wins. If Bernie shows up, guaranteed. The people here love Bernie. Love him. If he shows up, remember, the other guy who's in my Assemblyman is Mamdani. The guy who's literally a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, the guy who I showed you the interview yesterday, if any of you watched the interview yesterday, he's running for mayor. He's as left as they go. You don't go further left in New York City than him. He's as left as they go in New York City. That's my district. So, yeah. The Democratic Party of New York, to stop her running for Congress, or to throw so much money into my district, they wouldn't do it. I don't see it. I mean, maybe, and she can still win. Not just that, Tiffany Caban and her friends. Tiffany Caban, also DSA member, also in my district for the city council. And they're friends. Like when Tiffany Caban ran, AOC showed up for her. Tiffany Caban will show up for AOC. Now, for those of you who don't know who Tiffany Caban is, she is a local city councilman here in New York City. Now, the thing I like about Tiffany Caban, she's very far left, as left as Mamdani. But I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Tiffany Caban is in the neighborhood. Like, I see her in the neighborhood. I've met her more than once. She is out here. What AOC used to be in her first term, Tiffany Caban is still doing now. Like, she's out. You can see her in the street, hanging out with people, talking to people. People love her here. So, yes, they would throw money, but in this district, hard now, particularly with Bernie. So there's an issue right there with that. And Mamdani now and Bernie. If Mamdani actually does well in the primary coming up here, which I think he will in June, he's going to support her too. They're all together. She's going to be okay. Now, can she win a Senate seat? Democrats will throw everything against her, stop from winning Senate. So yeah, unless for some reason they think the Republican can win, but I can't see that. Hope that makes sense at least. So yes. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. Phil says 1999, perfect year. There we go. So that's what it was. 1999. I wasn't sure about that. Yes. Thank you. Jane is here. Grüß Gott. Larry, I liked and shared. He's my first comment. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Let's see here. I don't know. Oh, that's not for me. Is it? That's for someone else. Okay. I'm not sure who you were talking to. P says, I agree with your assessment line. Oh, good. So I won. All right. I'm winning. P said I'm right. So I'm good. That's all that makes sense. Yes. Markel says, I'm sick of talking to entitled pansies who can't fight their way out of a plastic bag. Do we have some of those here? Maybe we do. Maybe. He goes on to say, the news media is indoctrinated into thinking Italians aren't a part of the umbrella, galvanized to being white in the 80s and 90s. The news media is indoctrinated into thinking Italians aren't a part of the umbrella, galvanized to being white in the 80s and 90s. Do you mean like the 1880s and 90s? Or like the 19? Italians, I would say you look at Italians and Jews in America. Were looked upon, and Irish too. Catholics, I'll say Catholics and Jews. How about that? Catholics and Jews in America were looked upon in early American history as second-class citizens. Now, they weren't slaves, right? And I will tell you, we came over as slaves. They did not. That's Irish propaganda. They didn't come over as slaves. Some came as indentured servants. That's true. Many came as, but they didn't come over as slaves. That's the thing the Irish say. That's Irish propaganda. Not true. They came over as indentured. Some of them came over as indentured servants, and they absolutely were second-class citizens. That's 100% true. So were Jews. They were all second-class citizens. That's true. But at one point, probably here, I'm pulling this one out. I'm not really sure where it is. 50s, 60s, maybe. They really began to become part of the mainstream in that area. And by the time 80s and 90s came, Italians were white. They were same as Catholics were white. I mean, Irish were white, right? Jews were white. I mean, that kind of happened. So by that time. So I'm not sure. But yes, there was a time when they were second-class citizens. I think that's true. Yes. That was second-class. They were second-class citizens. But now, that's not true. I mean, look at our Supreme Court. Our Supreme Court's mostly Catholic and Jewish. So most of it is. So yeah. All right, let me grab a couple of these if I can. Shin says, Larry, do you think you can actually get elected just libertarian? Why not co-op one of the major parties? Because that's simple. Because it's freaking impossible. How do I do it? Magically? How do I win a primary, Shin? You mean co-op a party like how Thomas Massey's taken over the Republican Party? Oh, wait, no, he hasn't. Oh, that's okay. Like RFK Jr.'s taken over the Republican Party? Oh, no, wait, he hasn't. Or how Rand Paul taken over the Republican Party? Oh, no, he hasn't. Or like how Bernie Sanders is taking over the Democratic Party? Oh, no, he hasn't. Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah. They've been saying that for years. That's Democratic Republican cope to try to keep away third parties. But yeah, can I win as a libertarian? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll find out, Shin. Possible. We'll see. The advantage though that I have in New York State is that I can take on more lines in New York State. We have fusion voting. So I could take on more lines. I could run on multiple lines. So that's possible. We could do that. So yeah. So, all right, let's see if I can do this here. Nate says, it's crazy how the Keynesians ideas have evolved from deficit spending during war is okay, so long as there's a surplus later, to MMT, deficits forever, cash for everyone. MMT, by the way, is modern monetary theory, or as I like to call it, magical money tree. Yes. It has changed. You're right, Nate. The concept of spending a lot of money during a war makes sense if your country is in jeopardy, right? Who cares about debt if you don't have a country? Makes total sense. I actually agree with that concept, right? And you hope you win the war, and then you can take some of the money back from the people who you've conquered or defend yourself against. That's what you hope, right? Otherwise, if you can't, you just got to take time to pay it back, but it's better than not having a country. So the concept makes total sense. But now it's like, no, we just keep spending. Okay, where's the war? Who needs war? Let's just keep spending. What about like the money? We'll just keep spending it. Okay, but then won't there be debt? Yes. Isn't that bad? No. Why? Because we just owe it to ourselves. That's what they say. We owe it to ourselves, so debt doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, here's my answer always when I say this. If that's the case, that debt doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Then why don't we, every 10 years, give every single American a mulligan? Absorb all American personal debt, consumer debt, every 10 years. Absorb it all. You got a mortgage? Absorb it. You got credit card debt? Absorb it all. The government absorb it all. What? Yeah. Let Americans spend like crazy for 10 years and then absorb everything. Just take it all. Give everybody a mulligan every year. Well, no, you can't do that. Why not? That doesn't matter. You just told me that doesn't matter. We owe to ourselves. Just absorb it. If you can take federal debt, take the consumer debt then. Who cares? Just do it. I'm going to go buy a house that's worth $2 million and pay the mortgage as long as I can for a little bit of time to hold on until my 10-year part comes up. And then you'll just take care of my debt and I'll own the house. How about that? No, I can't do it. Why? Well, because if there's due too much, then there'll be inflation. Oh, there'll be inflation. They actually say this. Yeah, you've got to balance it. Oh, so there is an inflation. Well, no, you have to balance. And then it all falls apart. So it always falls apart because it's garbage. MMT is utter garbage. Does not exist. But people believe it. That's Democratic cope. It's just not a real thing. You're right, Nate. It's not. So, yes. P says, Larry, what if we got Elon to donate $2 million to become governor? Would the source of the donation cause problems for your campaign? Okay, let's be very clear. I can only take $9,000 per person for New York State per cycle. That's all I could take. If anybody wants to give me $9,000, I don't care who it's from. Don't care. If a PAC wants to support me, don't care. I have said openly, and I'll say it again. Openly, and I will say it again. If the ghost of Saddam Hussein came back, became an American citizen, meaning that he could legally donate, and donated money to me, I would take it. I don't care who it's from. To Shin's point, how am I supposed to win this thing if I'm not Democrat or Republican? With money. I will take money from anyone legally. Legally, Stan, my agent who's watching me and listening to me, legally. I will take any legal donation from any person. I don't care who it is. As long as it's legal, I will happily take it. Don't care. Larry, you took money from so-and-so. Yes, I did. Yes. And I don't care. Stop yelling at me. I don't care. Yes. When you change the system to where I can actually run to where the two parties haven't corrupted everything, when you change that system that crushes Americans, that ensures that I have no democracy where I live, when you change that system where I get actual democracy, then open your mouth. Until then, you can shut up. And I will tell any reporter, anybody that. How dare you take money from him? How dare you accept this crap system? Stop with your virtue signaling and write me a check. How about that? That will be my answer. Peace. You got me all triggered, but I hear people all the time try to find reasons to be mad at people. How dare you not follow the rules? You mean the rules that ensure there's no chance? I want to be clear for anyone who thinks I'm exaggerating. I'm going to be very clear about something. Where I live in my city, and I'm not the only person who feels this way, I literally, not figuratively, not kind of, no exaggeration, I literally have no say in my government. None. I have no say because of our system. But Larry, you could vote. I can vote. That's true. But I still have no say. Why? Where I live, it is 6-1 Democrat Republican. It's so bad where I live that the Democrats don't bother running candidates anymore. I'm sorry, Republicans don't bother running candidates anymore. So the person who's going to be my representative, whether that's mayor, assemblyman, state senator, senator to the federal government, congressperson to the federal government, so at every level, city, state, federal, all of them, the Democrat always wins every time. In fact, the state level, at the local level, they win 99-1. 1% write-ins. That's Saddam Hussein numbers. That's Kim Jong-un numbers. Stalin would die for those numbers. 99-1. I'm not a member of the Democratic Party. So therefore, I cannot vote in the primaries. That's how our laws. We don't have open primaries. So I get no vote on who are my leaders. I have to hope my leaders are good. I live in a world where I just hope. I hope I get good leaders. When you change that system, I'll think about where my money comes from. Until you change that system, I will take money from anybody who'll give it to me, period. They try to say that when I ran in 2018. He gets his money from outside the state. I have an idea. You can shut up. Change the system. I'll take it from anybody. Don't care. It was legal. As long as it's legal. Hope I answered your question, please. Thank you. All righty. See if I can go down here. Okay. Shelly says, the media banks on us being morons and are angry that we aren't. Yes, and they also something else. They bank on us not paying attention, Shelly. They really do. They bank on us not paying attention. Yes. Pieces. I think Larry could beat this record. Maybe. I'd have to get in Senate first, Pete. Then prep myself. Maybe wear a diaper or something. Maybe. Catheter? Something. Right? I don't know. Maybe I can just do it. Just make sure I kind of empty out before I start. Then go 26 hours. Maybe. I give it a shot. I give it a shot. I could try. Maybe one day I'll try it. We'll see. Yes. Yeah, maybe. Yes. Nate says, there are more skeptics of Trump other than AOC and Bernie. There's Rand, Massey, and there's you. Correct. Oh, totally accurate. Yes. Correct. Dave says, Trump will never get a Nobel. What will be funnier is if they actually did the Nobel like they did the Oscar, and the winners, Donald Tusk, Prime Minister of Poland. Oh, that's so good. That will be amazing. He could, if he actually helped, but the problem is he's not trying to help with the Ukraine war. But if he did, that'd be possible, Dave. He could try to help with the Ukraine war, but yeah, he's not. Yeah. Phil says, dang it, AOC's 35. Yeah, I thought around 30. I thought about 36. There we go. Yes, absolutely. I remember she's like just as able to run for president. Just able to. So, yes. All righty, let me see if I can go down here and grab some more of these. Shin says, Larry, what are the best universities to attend for people with political ambitions? You want to be in Ivy Leagues because they have all the cash, right? You want to grow your network. The education you learn in college for politics is utterly useless, has literally zero value, means nothing for you running for office. Now, if you want to actually be in a campaign, you might learn something in college to be in a campaign. To run for office, you learn nothing in college. It's irrelevant. You want to be in the right college where you have the right network of people who can give you money. So any Ivy League would work. In addition to that, the academies, Annapolis and West Point. That's where you want to go if you want to do that. So yes. P says, I'm in the middle of a fast too. We're synchronized. There we go. Yes, we are synchronized. Exactly right. So we'll see. All right. Phil says, Aldi sells real German chocolate. Well, Aldi's is a German company, so makes sense. Makes sense. Yes. Pete says, Kathy Hochul's whining about Trump's tariffs as a tax burden. Is peak comedy when New York's the highest tax state in the U.S.? I cannot believe New York buys into BS. Remember something, Pete, though. This is the part you're missing. It's an important piece you're missing. Orange man bad. Gotta remember that. See, that's your problem. You're not getting that piece. That's the piece. Yes. Mastermind says, I'm such a chocolate addict that I changed my pronouns to her, she's. Very nice. Very nice. There we go. There we go. I like that. So all good. All right. I want to grab a couple more of these here. P says, okay, I'm on it. Putting it to my to-do list. Get Elon to start Larry Pack. That's not a bad idea. I like that. I like that. Yes. Morgan says, I was just following the rules. Nuremberg. Just following the rules. Just following orders. Exactly. Yes. K. John says, I have a dream. AOC and Bernie Sanders stir up the base, create fierce loyalists, see the error of their ways, scoop up some of their politicians, Larry RFK Jr., and they all dump the Dems and go LP and win. Hey, a girl can dream. Or in theory, like a We the People. That's what RFK Jr., that's his party. Maybe the We the People party. Could be that, right? Could be. So, yeah. Mark Hill says, I meant in the 1980s, 1990s. As you said, a majority of Italians, Irish, etc., were treated poorly, but not marrying into old money or moving into white neighborhoods for the same reasons that Asians and black people aren't allowed to do the same. Well, I don't know if I did if you ever want to check us out, Mark Hill, I did a show on, it was my Juneteenth show. I think was it 2021? I think it was Juneteenth show. I discussed all of that and I showed the receipts. Most people don't know this, but the federal government literally, to your point, I think you might know this, but people listening may not. It wasn't like there was actually a list, a percentage of Italians and Jews that could live in neighborhoods that the federal government would support with their loans after World War II. I'm not making this up. It was 30%. So you could have 30% of your neighborhood being Italian and Jewish, and that's written down, documented in federal documents, which I show in that video, the actual documents. It is 30%. So you have 30% of your homeowners could be Italians and Jews, and they write that in there. 0 can be black. And Asians aren't mentioned at all. You're correct, Markel. People don't know that, but Markel's correct in this. Literally, there was a 30% threshold on Italians and Jews. This was in New York State. And 0 black, and Asian was not even mentioned. It wasn't in the rules. So, yeah, that's an accurate statement. That's true. But that's my point. Eventually, and that began to happen around the 50s, which is right after World War II, and the government made all those neighborhood rules and those loans and housing, all that happened. And when that happened, that is when they had their 30%. So that's how the Catholics and Jews began to become more of the same as everyone else from their second-class citizen status. If anyone here watching has Catholic background, I'm sure you have stories of, when your grandmother, grandfather, whatever was here and was treated poorly, or, the old Irish did not apply. That was a thing. And most people don't realize that was a thing. Catholics were second-class citizens in America for a long time. That's true. So, but now we're all second-class citizens. So at least we're fair now, I guess. So yes, 100%. So Morgan says the same percentage as new developments, 30% for low income. Yes, they keep the same concepts. Yes, they kept it from those times. Accurate, 100% accurate. Yes, that's totally true. Guys, I'm going to ask you if you could please do me a favor. Click the button known as like. I know I bug you, but I do it for an important reason. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo, do so. If you have not shared this or reposted it, do it now. If you have not followed me on Sharpe Way, Facebook, X, and Rumble, it is because you hate the children. Why do you hate the children? Don't hate the children. Follow me. It's important. If you have not subscribed to Sharpe Way on YouTube, you need to. It's important. My Larry Sharpe YouTube page, I believe, is banned the shadow type. I think it is. My Sharpe Way page is not. So I need you to come over there and subscribe to the Sharpe Way YouTube page so it can grow. This needs to grow more. It has to grow more. So to grow more by doing that matters. Subscribe to it and make sure you select all notifications. You might go, Larry, I've already subscribed. Here's the problem. YouTube decides randomly that you're a bot and unsubscribes you. I'm not making that up. That actually happens. So make sure you are. It does matter. If you haven't become a member, please do so if you can. $49 per month. Click that join button on YouTube. If you want on Rumble, $49 per month. Click subscribe only during the live. Do that if you can. It'd be great. Now, if you're watching this and it's past live, if it's not live, if you're watching this right now and it's not live, here's what you do. When this video ends, you might see some other videos pop up. If they do, click on that video and watch that video right away for like 5-10 minutes. Click it on, walk, go to the bathroom. Put it on. Why? Mr. Rhythm likes that very much. That same guy, first name Al, middle name Gore, he loves when you do that. So if video's on, this is not, if it's not live, it's live now, but if you're watching it later, it's not live, and the two videos pop up, click on either one of them and go to the bathroom and come back. And just, yes, loves that. It does matter tremendously. If you can do that, please do that. Guys, here's what I'm asking you to do, if you don't mind. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Who do you think right now is the most popular Democrat and or the most popular Republican in America right now? Please put that in the chat once this is over. I'll be back on tomorrow. I promise you, I'll be back on tomorrow. I don't know when yet, but I will. And I'm also seeing you guys who are sending me those videos that I'm going to check out. I'll check out those videos also. I may do a reaction tomorrow because I got a bunch of videos you guys sent me. I appreciate it. I will see you all